What's going on, everyone? So, last offseason, when the Lakers landed Cam Reddish, myself and many others were very excited for Cam. He was 23 at the time, still plenty of upside, plenty of versatility. Talk about a guy that's, 6'8 with 7'2 wingspan, 7'1 wingspan, a guy that can basically play 2 through 4 and just be that hyper athlete out there. He was a guy that coming out of Duke, there were questions about his work ethic. There were questions about like his commitment to the game, but he was a guy that just had so much raw talent, upside, and potential, and really kind of got the bad end of the stick, to kind of keep it PG here, right? And it was something where it's like, man, in the right situation, on the right team, in the right environment, he's a guy that could really make an impact potentially on both sides of the basketball. Right? It's like when he was drafted by Atlanta, that first year he played, he was actually a kind of focal point, right? Like got 27 minutes right out the gate, played 58 games, gave you 10 and a half points, 4 rebounds, gave you a steal, a block, right? He was very versatile. And then the next year you saw him once again kind of take a little step, and you're like, okay, here we go, right? But then he played 26 games for Atlanta, and it was kind of like, the injuries, like it just became a bit of a concern, right? But then you fast forward to the 2021-2022 season, and you started to see his minutes decline, right? He starts getting fewer minutes, starts getting fewer shots, starts getting fewer opportunities. And then he ends up getting shipped out to the New York Knicks, where the New York Knicks, Tibbs said he didn't want him, right? Like, so they ended up, but they had already agreed to the deal and it was already done. It was already too late. So then the Knicks tried to immediately turn around and trade him, which he eventually ends up getting traded to in the 2022-2023 season to the Portland Trail Blazers, where again, he got back up to 27, almost 28 minutes a game. It was an 11-3, 2 1-1 guy, right? Like got back to that promising, okay, maybe there's some potential there. And then ends up going with the Lakers, plays 48 games, plays 20 minutes a game, and he gives you 5 points, 2.1 rebounds, averages a steal and a block. But he was very good defensively. Offensively, still has a ton of struggles. He's terrible offensively. It's almost like he got worse offensively. I mean, he struggled to handle the basketball. He struggled to kind of make plays for even himself, right? But you saw in the offseason, like, you're watching the training videos and then him, in like scrimmages and stuff, and he's able to put the ball on the deck and get to the basket and finish through contact and do all these things. And then he got to the games and it's like he forgot how to dribble a basketball, but he was so good defensively. And it was something that the Lakers desperately needed with Jarred Vanderbilt missing most of the season, right? And then he started getting injury riddled, and then he just kind of wasn't the same guy. But I do still like Cam Reddish. The problem is that the Lakers are in this position where they got to unload guys. The Lakers have to start trading guys, and they have to, and it's like, okay, based on the reports, the Lakers want to keep Jackson Hayes over Cam Reddish and Christian Wood. Now, I personally think that Christian Wood is the guy that they should keep, given the circumstances, given that like they're trying to win right now. Right? If you were like kind of a more rebuilding team or something, then you're probably going with Jackson Hayes, right? But I just think like you could get a serviceable backup big man. Christian Wood and his versatility is slotted at the 5 and the 4, especially if you do end up pulling up a trade. Any trade is probably going to include Rui Hachimura, more likely than not. And then I just think Wood kind of gives you that Rui insurance. And I think he was just terribly utilized, right? But to kind of keep things on track is that, again, like the kind of last guy you think of keeping is Cam Reddish. But I still think he has a lot of just upside and potential. One, he's got to be able to stay healthy. He's got to find a way to be able to stay healthy and out there on the basketball court. That's a big problem. But even just like the defensive versatility that he has and provides, I just think it's just, there's very few guys that were able to do what he did last season. I mean, again, that early parts of the season, and he was defending like the best player on the other team and doing an excellent job. I mean, excellent. right? I mean, he was getting some real praise, but at times he'd lose focus and he'd lose, like, he's really got to find a way to stay on track, right? And because look, he's on the verge of being out of the league. I think if the Lakers were to unload him, right, or let's say the Lakers trade him and a team ends up waiving him or something, I do think somebody will pick him up on a flyer because again, he is still only 24 years old, right? He's as old as Blake Hinson, right? And I know a lot of people look at Blake Hinson and they go, "Oh man, but he's such a great shooter," right? Yeah, but he's a liability on the defense side. Like Cam Reddish is great defensively. You just need to get him serviceable offensively. But he has all the tools and all the intangibles to be great on the offensive side. It's also worth noting that Cam Reddish also left Clutch, by the way, and joined Weiserman agency, which I just think is worth noting because, it's kind of like, well, he left Clutch. He's getting traded for sure now. But we'll see. Time will tell. I was super high on Cam Reddish coming to the Lakers. I wanted Reddish for years. And I still think he has, in the right situation, an opportunity to be a real basketball player. He has all the tools. Now, that doesn't always translate. There's been plenty of guys throughout the history of the league that have had plenty of tools. But I really do think you saw the flashes that you wanted to see last season with him. Problem is can you, again, health, but can you keep him focused, engaged, and consistent is the thing, right? And continue to work with him on the offensive side of things. Right? You can't teach that his height and his length and his, athletic ability and his ability to slide his feet and, again, defend point guards all the way to power forwards and even on occasion switch on, if he gets switched on a big, he can still defend him. Like, it's very valuable. And so, to me, I'd like to see the Lakers continue to kind of develop him, but I also understand that you gotta get rid of some guys. But it also depends on what type of trades go down, if a trade goes down, right? Like, if you end up trading Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura, and, D'Angelo Russell, maybe you are stuck with a Hayes and a Reddish and a Wood, right? I also think it depends on the players you get back, right? Like, if let's say you pull off a trade for, I don't know, let's say Sexton and Walker Kessler, right? Just using them as an example. Say you pull off a trade with Utah, right? Now, if you get Kessler, you don't really have a need for Jackson Hayes anymore, right? And it's like, so to me, it's you unload Jackson Hayes if you can and try to clear a little extra salary and then keep Cam Reddish, right? But if you were to get, say, a Jeremy Grant or a Cam Johnson or something like that, Cam Reddish probably never sees the court, right? So I think at that point, you're just like, you're probably best to unload a Cam Reddish, right? Like if you send him back to Portland, whatever you got to do, right? I just think it depends on who are the players that you're getting in return and what type of trade is happening. Because, his defense alone, I think he's valuable just to have on the bench. And just limited role, limited minutes, kind of like, even 10 minutes a game where it's just like, hey, you're just throwing Cam Reddish out there just to, hey, don't worry about anything else. Just stop that guy for 10 minutes. And just letting him put all of his effort, energy, and focus into that, right? Whatever he can get on the offense side, you get on the offense side. If you can find ways to make Jarred Vanderbilt a valuable offensive weapon, you can find ways to make Reddish do the same. It just gives you that other guy that kind of gives you insurance for Jarred Vanderbilt, if he misses games or whatever, but also can kind of take the burden off, right? And then even late in games, like say you're up 1 with 5 seconds left or whatever. It'd be nice to have a guy like Cam Reddish that you could throw out there with his versatility on the defensive side, along with Jarred Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis. And now you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like the Lakers have like some real defensive tools and pieces out there. So again, it kind of depends on how it all shapes up. But I'm like, look, if the Lakers were to trade Reddish, I'm not going to be like, no, what are the Lakers doing? I can't believe, like, it's fine. I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think it's something where it's like, oh man, the Lakers really blew an opportunity here. No, fine. Like, if you want to unload them, unload them. I just think that, I just think in the right situation, which I think with JJ Redick, who isn't overusing him and is actually putting him in maybe better offensive positions to succeed, because I think JJ Redick's going to run some real sets and have some real structure to his offense. I do think that there is the potential that Cam Reddish could be better offensively. I do think that there is the potential that Reddish could make a better offensive impact. And then also, I mean, he's not going to be all of a sudden magically be an excellent shooter. I mean, you can improve. He can be better, right? It'd be nice if he could kind of get back to, just being a little more efficient, right? Like, not saying he has to shoot 40% from three or anything like that, but it would be nice if he could get to, even like 36% from three or something, something respectable, some around league average, basically. That would be nice. Because last year, from three-point range, he only shot like 34%, and I'm being generous there. His best season shooting the three was in Atlanta's final year, in which he shot 38% on 4.5 attempts. If he could get back to that, if he could be that on like 4.5 attempts, shooting 38%, he's a guy that like legit would probably be in the rotation. If he's shooting 38% in his size, length, and defensive versatility, yeah, you almost have to keep him in the rotation if that's the case. But we'll see how it plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Cam Reddish? Do you like the idea of keeping Cam Reddish? Do you think, nah, he's got to go, he's trash, all that stuff, he was bad? Or do you look at him as like, no, he's still 24, there's still upside, there's still potential. If you can keep him around and have him be a development guy, let him be a development guy. I mean, even last year when the Lakers signed him, like, none of us thought he was going to be a player that he was going to be a star for the Lakers or anything. It was always like, hey, this is a guy that's a development guy. But if the Lakers can kind of keep him around and grow and develop him over the next few years, they may end up having a real piece. That was kind of always the idea. But anyway, again, I would feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.